Hi, I'm John Trishler from SPV Parts, and today we're going to show you how to install the new lower bumper grill mount and replacement grill for your Gen 3 Raptor. So this is going to work for both the non-modular and the modular bumper. So we've got a modular bumper here. We're going to show you the install on that, but again, this works for both bumpers. So you'll be able to replace your lower center grill section in any 21 through 25 and probably 26 Raptor. We're going to show you how to install it real quick. So you know how easy it is. And again, this is going to replace this center section. All right, to make this install video a little quicker, we have removed some of the hard to pull off clips here, just to give you the idea, but these are going to pop off a little easier for us than they will for you. You've got the outer two panels here, and these snap in over top of this center grill section. You can reach down here at the bottom. You'll notice it kind of curves in there a little bit. Reach down at the bottom and you're going to work this up, work this out. You can grab a little trim tool if you need to, and you can kind of pull on this. But you're going to work this panel out, you're going to get under the edge, and you're going to pull on it until it pops off. Now again, there's some little sheet metal clips that go on these plastic tabs that kind of hold that in place more. We've removed those for this, so it's not going to pop off quite that easy, which you wouldn't want it to driving down the road anyway. But you'll pop those off. A couple of them may get stuck in there. You'll just take some pliers and you'll squeeze that and remove those from there. You might have to bend them back in place a little bit, put them back on these tabs. When you're done and ready to reinstall this, it'll just pop right back into place. But this way you can see how it comes off. Kind of work from the bottom, pry up, wiggle around, pop, 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 until that pops off. You're going to do that on both sides. Just like so. All right. Then you're going to be left with this center section right here. There's going to be two little push tabs that you're going to take a little pry tool and you can lift up on the little press pin there and pull that out. And then in here, same thing, you're going to kind of pull on these and you're going to have those same sheet metal clips right here and right here. All right, those may get stuck in here, again, not a big deal. Pry those out and then you can take this center section off. Now you've got a clean slate to install your new bracket. Now your outer sections are going to go back on once we're all done, but we're going to install the new center grill. All right, and so here is our new center grill. All right, so you're going to notice we've kind of started the bolts here already. The longer of these carriage bolts we're going to have for the four holes right here on the center. Okay, you're going to notice there's also a couple of shorter ones. Those are going to install here on the ends. All right, so we're going to start with these, and to save a little time, I've kind of got these started. You're going to use 6 nuts for each one on the modular bumper. On the non-modular bumper, this actually sits back a little further. On that one, you're not going to put 2, you're only going to put 1 in between. When I say in between, what I mean is these bolts are actually going to go in between this tab. That's going to space that out evenly, so that's consistent across there. So again, on the non-modular bumper, you're only going to use 1 in between to space it. On the modular one, you're going to use 2. But what we've done here on the top side is we've got the 2 spacer nuts here, most of the way back, but enough slack here that this can move because it's got to fit in the tab. And on the bottom, we've got it almost to the end. And that's because we've got to be able to get that tab inside here and kind of work that around. So watch really carefully and watch really closely as I tilt this in here. So this is back. You're going to notice I'm going to kind of put this over top of these 2 tabs here on the bottom, and I'm going to just kind of tilt that over just like so. And then these are loose enough that I can get to just go kind of in those holes here at the top. Same thing on both sides. Those will just fit right in there, just like so. All right, so now it's kind of in place, a little loose, which is fine. Now I can start to kind of turn this and move those nuts down further on the bottom side. And I can do this with my fingers as well. If you get them too tight together, then they'll get stuck, so make sure you kind of have some slack in between them. But you're gonna work those down like so. Same thing for the other one. Because this is a carriage bolt, it's gonna fit in this slot, and it's gonna keep it from turning. So that's gonna be easy whenever you put your other bolt on. Before we put these all the way down, we wanna kind of get this thread started here in the back just a little bit, because we've got to get the other nut on the back side there. And so what we'll do is we'll put a washer on first, just like this. And then we'll put the nut on the back side here. And you just need to get it started just like that, and get it kind of maybe flush to the end there, because the bolt's going to be too long to put it on afterwards. Now we'll go ahead and spin these spacer ones here a little further in, get them closer. And then when we're all done, we'll be able to tighten this up on the inside the rest of the way. We can do that on both sides. On the top, you don't have to worry about putting the inside nut on first. You can get these tightened all the way down to this, because you've got nothing behind here. And I know you can't quite see it, but you've got nothing behind here, so it's really easy. Just take this extra nut and washer and put them on the back side to tighten that down. All right, now and then just repeat that same thing on the other side. All right, now we just need to put the bolts on the ends. And so you'll see you've got the holes here on each side and here. And this side's a little trickier because you've got the sensor in there as far as getting your fingers back there. But I want you to notice that this plastic in here, you can push this back to get your fingers in here to get the nut and washers on the back side. So that's the only other thing you have to do, is you're just going to get those nuts and washers on the back side. You're going to install it just like this. Carriage bolt, the short ones. On the back side, you're going to put the washer. Then you're going to put the lock washer. And then you're going to put the nut on there. And you can just use a regular open-end wrench and tighten that up. Like I said, you can get to it from this side and over here. It's all open in here, so it's a lot easier to get to this side. So let's go ahead and do this side real quick first, because it's easier to see. So if we put our carriage bolt through, just like so, we can put our washer and our lock washer on the back side here, just like so. And then we take our nut, put that on last, just like so. And you can want to get that kind of centered, because it can be off just a little bit. Adjust your carriage bolts so they kind of cover the holes a little bit better. And the reason for the added slot is so that it works with both bumpers. All right, so first we showed you how to install this bracket. Now I want to make a note that you're not going to really, once you have the bracket in there, you really don't have room to get under here to get the brackets on for the lights. So you kind of want to get the lights in place first before you put this in the truck. You'll install the lights, install the brackets, get them kind of positioned, tighten these brackets down, and then you can remove the lights from their brackets. It's just because you want to get these bolted down to the main bracket first, and then after the fact you can put your lights back in there if you need to, because again, it's just kind of a tight area. Unless you want to take your skid plate down or something like that, you can. Then you can do it after the fact. So, there's several ways to do it. It is tight area to work in. You can remove your bumper, but we don't really like to do that unless you really wanted to. So we're kind of giving you some guidelines on how to install your lights into it. but if you install the brackets on there first, you should be okay. Take your lights back off, and then you can put the lights back on their brackets inside that whenever it's done. So on the rigid lights, it's a little more challenging to turn them upside down because the nuts are loose. You've got to drop those in and slide the bolt in from the side. Little life hack, you can take a little tape or something to hold that nut in place so it doesn't fall out when you turn it upside down, or maybe a little dab of rubber cement or something. Let it sit and hold so that that nut won't fall out when you turn it upside down to slide it in over the bracket. All right, so now you're going to be able to install a series of pod lights. So you can put up to 4 full-size pod lights in here. You don't really want to put more than 4 full-size. You want the air to be able to get around it. You want to be able to let the cooling go in there. You notice that this face does go back, so you know the air is still going to go here. It's just going to force it around there. You don't want to block that completely. So you know we can choose like rigid D-series or radiance pod lights. You're going to install the brackets just like this, and then you're going to pick the long slots. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one in the center if you ever wanted to do anything kind of funky. You're going to notice that these slots that are short and come all the way forward, so these are for your light bars. So you, like say your Onyx 6s. Now you can actually get a full-size 10-inch Onyx 6 light bar in there because it's not going to hit the shutters, because you can bring that forward just like so. It's upside down, but this is just for reference. So now you can get your full-size Onyx 6 light bars in there. Now to do that though, you're going to have your brackets on the light bars. The leg is going to go out on each side. So this is the slot that the leg is going to go in on each side. And because the Onyx 6 is so deep, you're going to bring that all the way forward, just like so. Now I'm going to tell you that when you put the pod lights in there, until you get to the very last one, it's not too hard really to put the lights in there, the individual lights after the fact. You can get started and you can put the brackets, just the main brackets, on this mount first if you prefer. If you think that's going to be a little easier, that's not a problem either. You definitely have to do that with the Onyx 6 though, because the light bar is going to sit here. You really can't get really around it with anything to tighten these down. So you're going to want to put the Onyx 6 on the brackets, kind of put them in place, get these bolted down, and then take the bolts out of the sides of the light bar and remove it from this bracket before you install it. Because again, you don't have a lot of room here to work unless you decide you want to take the bumper off. It's not necessary. You don't have to take the bumper off. All you need to do is just install these brackets first. So once these are installed, take the light bar off, then you can install the bracket just like so, and it's going to make it really easy. But let's go ahead and put a couple of lights in here real fast. I want you to notice on the Baja Designs lights that the bracket goes back. If you have the bracket come forward, the lights aren't going to sit in there correctly. So the bracket needs to go back on the Baja Designs light. On a rigid light, on a D-series light, there's really only one way to put the bracket. It's going to be in about the same position as the Baja light with the bracket back. Now, once it's all done, you can finish it up by snapping your panels back on, just like so. And this is what it's going to look like. Aside from having your lights in there, this is what it's going to look like finished. Looks factory, looks clean, looks like it came that way, but now you've got the ability again to install your lights. All right, and this is what it will look like after you're finished here with 4 lights installed. If you've got a license plate in the front and a front state, you can also just do 2 lights, one on each outside corner, to leave that center section open. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and visit us at spvparts.com to pick up this new grill mount for your Gen 3 Raptor and other accessories for your Raptor or other off-road vehicles.